Hi guys, I'm Kelly coming to you from my basement in Charlotte, North Carolina. It's a yucky day today, but that's not going to stop us from getting after it. I'm sure I probably drove you crazy learning that dance yesterday with my new mic here, but I just want to make sure that you guys can hear me. So hopefully I've hooked it on a little bit better today and it's not going to drive you crazy anymore. So today is Sunday. What we're going to do is take this opportunity to do a little reflection and to stretch our bodies. It's so important to stay flexible as you age. If you lose your flexibility, it's so easy to do. It can cause backaches, knee, joint pain, all the things. So the more flexible you can stay, the more limber you can stay, the better off you're going to be. I want to make sure you know I'm not a yoga instructor. I'm not even a fitness instructor. I'm just a regular everyday person who loves to stay in shape. I love to dance, and I definitely want to keep my flexibility. So with that said, today I'm going to lead you through a yoga exercise. I think the most important thing is to make sure you listen to your body. If something doesn't feel right, stop doing it immediately. And also make sure that you consult a physician before you try any new kind of exercise. So bear with me as we go through this yoga sequence. It's just something I like to do to stay limber, stay flexible, and hopefully you enjoy it too. We're going to start seated nice and tall. Pull those legs underneath you if you can. Whatever feels comfortable for you, that's how you should sit. And let's just take a couple of quick deep breaths. Make sure you're relaxing. Focus on your breathing. Deep inhale in and let it all go. Okay, now we're just going to roll over our knees. Give yourself a little push if you need to and come to all fours. You want your hands right beneath your shoulders, your knees right below your hips. Your belly is going to be tucked in here. Now, you're going to do cat-cow first. So let's lift the chin, drop the belly, push the tailbone up. And then reverse that. Pull everything in, hollow out that belly. Let's do that a couple more times. Make sure you're breathing as you do it. So inhale and then exhale as you go to the next pose. Inhale and exhale. This is just limbering up our spine a little bit. Inhale and exhale. Pull everything in. All right, now we're going to tuck our toes underneath us and move into a downward facing dog. So this should be nice and comfortable for you. My feet are hip width apart here. I'm pressing my heels down, pressing my chest towards my legs. Just take a nice deep breath here. It's okay if you have a little bit of shaking. That's just your muscles releasing toxins. It's all good. All right, now we're going to move into a plank. You might need to adjust your hands or your feet just a little bit. Now, a plank, we don't have our bottom up in the air like this. We have everything in a nice straight line. And in order to do that, you're going to have to pull your belly nice and tight. Squeeze your legs as hard as you can. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze everything in. You shouldn't just be relaxing here. You should be squeezing everything. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And now let's go back to our down dog. You shouldn't need to move your hands or your feet. Now you're in the perfect position for your down dog. Let's do that again. Back to plank. Squeeze that belly, squeeze those legs. If I came by and tried to knock you over, you wouldn't be able to move because you're just squeezing everything so tight. Let's go back to down dog. Make sure you're breathing as you're doing this. Back to plank. Squeeze. And back to down dog. All right, well, let's stretch our hips a little bit. So take that right leg, extend it straight up to the sky. And there goes my hip, it pops every time. Stretch that leg, reach it to the sky, bring it in, and tuck, 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 tuck it in as much as you can. And then turn the leg out a little bit so that your knee is pointing to the diagonal and your toe is pointing to the other diagonal. This is called pigeon pose. If you can, drop your back leg, relax that leg, and press that back leg towards the back mat. So you're sort of stretching everything apart. You might need to tuck something under your hip here, maybe a pillow or a rolled up towel, something like that. That's perfectly normal. We're going to sit up nice and tall here in our pigeon pose. Now, I'm feeling it here on my left hip flexor as well as my right hip, bottom, that glute, that whole area. If you can, take it down to your elbows and just relax here as much as you can. Now, if this is any pain at all, definitely come out of the pose. You shouldn't be feeling any pain. It's okay if it's stretching. You can feel the difference between a stretch and when you have pain. So we definitely don't want pain. So let's stay here and take a couple of deep breaths. And one more deep breath. Take it in and out. All right, let's come back up. I always like to start with hips because I don't know about you, but as I get older, my hips just get tighter and tighter. And plus, sitting at a desk all day doesn't help either. All right, come out of that however you can, whatever's easiest for you. And you can either go straight back to down dog or take that leg back up to 3-point down dog. Stretch it a little bit more, reach up towards the ceiling, and then lower. And let's do the other side. Stretch that leg, left leg up. There goes my hip again. All right, bring that leg in. Tuck, tuck, tuck. As tight as you can. And then drop it. So that left knee is going to the left diagonal, right toe to the right diagonal. Stretch that right leg back to the back of your mat. Sit up nice and tall. You should be feeling a stretch here. Again, I have it in my right hip flexor and my left glute. Sitting up tall, stretching. And if you can, take it down to your elbows. Again, no pain here. If you feel pain in your knee or anything like that, you definitely want to come out of it, or just stay up like this. Whatever works for you. It's so important to listen to your body. It will tell you exactly what it needs if you listen to it. All right, a couple of deep breaths here. In and out. We're going to breathe in through the nose. So in through the nose. Release it out through the mouth. Now, for the sake of time, I'm not holding these poses for very long. But if you have the time, I would pause the video and hold each of these poses for 2 to 3 minutes, even 3 to 5 minutes. I know that sounds like incredibly long, but the longer you can hold your pose, the more your muscles are going to relax into it. Because right now it's fighting everything. It's like, what are we doing? I don't like any of this, and it's fighting it. So the longer you can stay here with as much relaxation as possible, the more benefit you're going to get out of it. But for the sake of time, we are going to move on. So come back up, hands underneath you, tuck that right toe under, and either go straight back to your down dog or tuck and take it back to 3-point dog and stretch it out. Take that left leg, stretch it straight up to the ceiling, and then release. All right, let's do a couple more to our plank again. Plank, hold, squeeze, back up to down dog. Let's do that one more time. Plank, hold, squeeze everything in, and back up to our down dog. Okay, let's move on. Let's go to what we call lizard. So back up to our 3-point down dog. Stretch that right leg to the ceiling or as high up as works for you. Tuck, 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 tuck. Tuck it in super tight. Then take that right foot on the outside of your right hand. Now you may be feeling something right here already. So you may need a block or something that you can raise your hands up a little bit so you're not as bent over. So definitely listen to your body here. But if you can, keep those hands flat on the ground and stretch. You should feel the stretch in your left hip flexor, and I even feel some in my right hamstring. Okay, leave that left hand on the ground. Take your right arm, stretch it up towards the ceiling. Deep breath, keep breathing. Can you twist a little bit more? Twist from your upper body. Deep breath in. And take that arm back down. Now, I want you to drop that left knee to the floor. You may need to put something underneath that knee. Whatever works for you. Relax your toes. And you should feel even more of a stretch in that left hip flexor now. Okay, if it feels more comfortable to you, leave your right heel where it is, but turn your toe out just like 45 degrees on that right foot. Whatever works for you. If that feels more comfortable, do that. And if you're able, either stay here or take it down to your elbows. I used to be able to do both elbows. I can now only do one. That's just what happens when you get older. Things just don't go the way they used to. All right, deep breaths here, in through the nose and release out through the mouth. In through the nose, out through the mouth. One more. All right, let's come back up. Turn that toe back in if you turned it out. And we're gonna lean, like not really lean, but put all the weight back on your left knee and let your toes rise up off the floor. So you're in a front, like half split here. Now, obviously this is gonna be a major hamstring stretch here. So you don't wanna be like hunched over. You wanna be nice and lifted. Tuck that belly in. Pull those toes back. If you can actively pull those toes back, you're going to get more of a stretch there in the right leg and the hamstring. This is a tough one for me. My hamstrings are just getting tighter and tighter by the day. All right, let's do that same thing where our left hand is on the ground and then take that right arm and twist it up to the sky. And just twist as far as you can here. I don't have a lot of flexibility in my back, so I kind of max out somewhere. You can probably hear it in my voice. My back just doesn't move. It never has, really. But we're still getting benefits even if we can't rotate as far as we'd like. All right, take that arm back down. Let's stay here for a couple more breaths, really stretching that hamstring. If you sit at a desk a lot, really should do this at the end of every day to stretch those hamstrings. They don't get stretched, they just end up staying nice and tight. So we really need to stretch them daily if possible. All right. Put that weight back on that right foot. We're going to tuck those left toes under. My left knee is my bad knee, so I have to be really gentle with it. All right, so here we are back in our lunge. And from here, we're going to step that left foot up a little bit so that we're in a forward fold with our feet, right leg in front, left leg in the back. Now you want them on train tracks. You don't want one leg. You don't want them in the same line here. So my right foot is over to the right. My left foot is a little bit to the left. Not a lot, but they're still hip distance apart, but they're not just like in a straight line. They're separated a little bit. You should be getting a nice stretch there too in your hamstring as well. Now, if you can't touch the floor, again, you may need some blocks to lift yourself up a little bit. Or you can even put a chair nearby so that you can hold onto the chair, whatever works for you. All right, let's go back to that lunge. Hands are placed right in front of you. Belly is tucked in. We're going to take that right leg either back to down dog or straight up to three-legged dog. And then release. All right, let's go back to our plank. And back to our down dog. Let's do the left side. Here we go. So left leg's going to come up. And now we're doing our lizard. So tuck that left knee in, tight, tight, tight. Then put it on the outside of your left hand. Let's stay here for a second. So again, we're filling this in our right hip flexor, our left glute, and our left hamstring. Deep breath in. Release. In. And release. Okay, leaving that right hand on the ground, the left hand's going to reach up to the ceiling. Twist from the mid-back. So don't twist the hips. Twist from the back, from the mid-back up. And however far you open is fine. It doesn't matter. It's not a competition. Listen to your body. And just do what you can. If you're shaking, that's a good thing too. Belly still tucked in. And then let's put that left hand back down. And let's drop the right knee to the ground. Relax your toes. Now it's a little bit more of a stretch here. That left hamstring and the right hip flexor. If you're able, take it down to your elbow. Now if you have one side that's more flexible than the other, that's normal also. Just love your body wherever it's at. Accept it. It's a beautiful thing. Being able to move and stretch. It's all beautiful. All right, again, if you're able to stay here longer, definitely do. But for the sake of time, come back up. And let's take our left hand on the outside of that left foot and shift back so that your weight is on your right knee and your left toe comes up. This is that nice big hamstring stretch here. All right, remember not to drop the chest. You want to still stay nice and lifted. Belly still tucked under in, rather. There's always, this is what I love about yoga. People think it's just pose and hold, but it's really not. You're actively squeezing and holding everything, and there's something going on in every part of your body at yoga. And if it's not, then you're not doing it properly. You really should be feeling every part of your body doing something. Like even my hands are active and my arms are active here. My belly's tucked in. Trying to keep myself lifted so every part of my body is doing something here. All right, let's release that foot. Come back to your lunge. Take that right leg, pull it in a few steps, and then straighten that left knee. And again, if you need to lift up some, either hold on to a chair, couch, blocks, or hands on the ground. Now you want to make sure your feet are on those train tracks. And you also don't want your hips to be all wonky either. Your hips should just be in a straight line, straight forward. Sorry about that. My phone cut off, so I'm not sure how long we were holding that pose. So let's just kind of leave that where it was and move on from there. Let's start in down dog again. So here we are in down dog. We're almost done here anyway. Let's go back to our plank and back to our down dog. And now I want you to move to your knees. So you're in a tabletop position. Take the left knee out to the left, right knee out to the right, and sit back on those heels. Nice stretch here, reaching those arms forward. Let your head rest on the ground. Rock your head side to side. All right, let's come up and have a seat on our bottom. I'm going to face you here. And let's sit in a nice butterfly position to stretch out our inner thighs here. So sit up nice and tall. Pull those feet in as comfortably as you can. Just pressing those knees down to the ground. Get that nice stretch here in the inner thigh. All right, let's wrap up here by laying down on our backs. Let's pull the right knee in. And then gently take that right leg over to the left, stretching your right arm in the opposite direction. Just go as far as you're able. I'm not able to go super far here, honestly. My back is a little bit stiff, so I'm not going to worry about it. I'm going to go as far as I can, and that's going to be just fine. Bring it back to the center, and let's switch legs here. So pull that left leg in. Left arm out to the side. Take that left leg over to the right as far as you comfortably can. Stretching that back out. All right, you did a great job today. Let's pull both those knees in. Rock back and forth. Stretch out that lower back. And then stretch your legs out in front of you. Turn those palms up. Relax your feet. Relax everything. One more deep breath. And release. Lay here as long as you're comfortable. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed your stretch. Tomorrow we have a fun dance to learn. So thank you for joining me in this May movement challenge. I hope you're enjoying it and I appreciate your time. Have a great day.